Welcome to Spin Justice with me, Hayley Owens, the podcast where I'll be talking about anything from health and fitness to the injustices of the world and everything in between. I've worked within the criminal justice system for over 20 years and have more recently taken to teaching indoor cycling, otherwise known as spin. Each week I'll be talking to a different guest about a topic that's personal to them, whether it be to raise awareness or just because. Most episodes will contain strong language because of who I am as a person, so if that's not for you, then probably best to swerve. Any opinions expressed by me are my own. This episode is sponsored by Solace Tanning. Based on Northfield Road in the Harborne area of Birmingham, this deluxe tanning salon offers state-of-the-art stand-up and lie-down tanning options to give that all-over glow. With premium courses to get the most for your money, a wide range of tanning creams available and a relaxed atmosphere, get yourself down there because let's face it, we always feel better with a tan. And they're even open late most nights. Right, welcome Marc Smith,
Hi.
Close Protection Officer
Indeed.
/ Security Services. Am I right?
You are. You are right.
I've got so many questions that I've been thinking about since we agreed to do this episode.
Right.
And my first question is about close protection, how you sort of got into that, but also, do you need to have any sort of police background?
So thanks for inviting me on. That's the first thing.
You're welcome.
Get that in. So you don't need a police background, no. A lot of close protection officers have a military background. I do not. I was never in the military. But a lot of them do have a military background because when they leave the forces, they get like a civilian training. So I didn't have any military, no police. So I had to do it. What I believe was the harder way, because mine was based on word of mouth recommendation and doing it my own route. So I had to go and get the training myself. It wasn't a route that I actually chose to get into, but it kind of circumstances took me down that path.
It came to you. The reason I asked that was because someone that I know through the police days has recently started doing close protection, but in a police role. So through a firearms role,
Right, yeah.
For high profile figures, but still a police officer. And I was like thinking about it, getting ready this morning, and I was thinking, first of all, that's coming out of the public purse.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, if you're such a high profile figure, and they might do, and I might be completely wrong, but shouldn't you be funding that yourself? Or maybe they do subsidise it somehow, I don't know. So I was thinking, you're still a police officer and you're still a firearms officer, but you're doing close protection work for government officials and things like that.
Yeah, so the government have what they call diplomatic protection.
Yeah.
So like if you go around central London, you see certain cars that have a certain registration plate, which are diplomatic protection officers.
Right.
But if they have to be in a police role to carry firearms.
Right.
There's no close protection officer in this country can carry firearms.
So a diplomat, what were they called?
So diplomatic protection.
Are they police officers?
They would be police officers, yeah. So they
Ah.
would be armed firearms, and they could be for, ministers, ambassadors. So right at this moment, you've got Donald Trump here.
Of course.
The London will be full of diplomatic protection officers for him, his team. We're talking hundreds.
Yeah.
And they'll be armed, as well as his own.
As well as his own.
But we would have to, because of the firearm laws, we'd have to provide most of that security.
So from a security background then for you, how did you get into something like that? How did you get into close protection?
Well, I started working in security in 1994. This is the what a lot of people start pubs and clubs.
Yeah.
And but the company that I worked for was run by an SBS guy. His name was Pete Boucher. He's not with us anymore, but he was very, very into the close protection world because he'd come from the SBS.
Right.
So I used to work with him closely, but not doing close protection. But I used to watch and I used to ask questions because I was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
And I remember one weekend he was going away to Ascot and he was doing the security for Princess Anne. And I said, can you get me on the team? No. I wasn't trained for it. So it was right that he told me no. But I think I asked so much and I kept on and kept on. And he said, look, if you really want to get into it, It's an uphill battle because you don't have that military experience. But if you want to get into it, we'll look at doing the training. Because as a civilian, you can do the training. It's extensive. It's expensive as well.
I was going to say, do you have to pay for that then obviously all yourself?
Yeah, he funded some of it. It's like £5,000 or £6,000, and that was a while ago. So it's even more now.
And over how long?
That was over a 4-week period.
Okay.
And then you have to retrain and refresh your skills.
Yeah, quite rightly.
Yeah, and they continually add to it. But yes, that's how I got into it. But I had a limited amount because I was still quite young. And then in my later years, when I sort of created my own security company.
Yeah.
And then there were certain opportunities where people would come to me and said, "Would you do a little bit of security for so and so?" And then, of course, your kind of reputation as an individual grows, and you get recommended, and I got more work. And then you had to do a close protection SIA license.
Oh.
Back when I started, you didn't. So the training evolved yet again to get your SIA license.
Wow, so it is quite in depth then, really, isn't it? And then I guess the training, if it's anything sort of like, I'm relating it to the police world.
Yeah.
So you can do training, for weeks on end and scenarios, but I guess that the training starts when you start doing the job.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, the training was very good.
Yeah.
For example, they really throw you off. Like you can sit in a classroom all day. And, like with any train, you're looking forward to going home at the end of the day. If you're in a hotel for 3 weeks, you'll go back to your hotel and then you get a phone call saying you need to come back. What do you mean we need to come back? No, we've got a job to do. What? And so the things like that, you're like, hold on, I've got my EastEnders lined up, my meal.
Yeah.
No, we want you all back in the classroom in 35 minutes. If you're not in, you failed the test.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then they put you out on a job, which was obviously a scenario.
Yeah.
But it's things like that, because the close protection world, I mean, it looks glamorous, but it's not. It's very tedious, very boring. Now and again, you get a client which is exciting. You go around the world, but in general, it's very, very boring.
Oh, tell us a bit more about that. So, like, generally, then day to day, I would imagine, and this is what I was thinking about when I was getting ready this morning. How boring would that be? Just sat with your firearm. I'm thinking from a police perspective again.
Yeah.
Sat just waiting for something to happen, because let's face it, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't.
Very unlikely.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very, very boring, but you've got to be alert, aware all the time, and the mental fatigue it takes to be watching, because I believe that to be a good close protection officer, you have to have an inbuilt protective instinct anyway.
Yeah.
Not anyone can do it. You've got to have something about you which keeps you aware, alert. So also you got to think, like, you need toilet breaks.
Yeah.
You need toilet breaks. You're the same as everyone else. So you've got to think, you've got to plan ahead. You've got to be careful what you eat, careful what you drink.
I was just about to say that, because we would most definitely, thinking back to when I was in the police days, you wouldn't drink a lot of water if you knew that you were going to be out doing house-to-house inquiries in a horrible area, because you probably weren't going to get access to a toilet. But then that dehydrates you, which then gives you a headache.
Absolutely.
Which then affects how you perform. So it's the same thing, isn't it?
There's a lot involved, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what you end up doing, you end up working around the client's pattern. So if you're working with someone on a regular basis, you kind of know what they're doing. Now, if they're a diplomatic, like we mentioned Donald Trump, that is scripted months in advance. So they know exactly when he's having a break, know exactly where he's going, what roads he's taking. I mean, he's the elite, but there are, even if it's government ministers, it's all planned out.
Yeah.
And it should be as well if you're a high ranking celebrity.
Yeah.
If the team do the job properly.
Yeah. So you would then sort of break when they break?
Yeah, you break when they break, or if let's say they're going to a TV program and they're doing some kind of TV series, something. You once they're locked away in a green room doing their thing, you also utilise the in-house security and things like that. So if it's the case of, look, right, you need to stand by that door, don't let anyone in, because they love that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've done all levels of security, so there's no like looking down on anyone, but if you're a security guard and suddenly you've got your job is to look after that door for 5 minutes, they love it.
Yeah.
Because then they go and tell their friends, I'm a close protection officer now, bodyguard.
Yeah. and then you can go and have a break.
Exactly. It gives you a toilet break at least. But
Yeah.
yes, there's a lot that goes into it. But people only see the glamorous side. You know, they see the film Bodyguard, which is very good. But
Oh, it is good, isn't it?
yeah, but it is hard because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for that person's safety. And if something goes wrong, I'm only as good as my last job. I could do this 20 years, but if I do one bad job tomorrow, in a world now of social media as well,
You're not getting hired again.
I'm never getting a job again. So.
Yeah. And when you talk about being alert, does that mean for you that you have to have a really strict routine yourself? I.e., what I mean is, do you need to have a certain amount of sleep every night?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us, what's your routine? I'm really fascinated with this.
Well, it depends where I am, what I'm doing, what job it is. But I would like to say I'd be in bed by 9 o'clock, get a good 8-9 hours sleep. However, this is another one of the frustrating parts of the job. Let's say you've got a client, you're doing a tour around the world, and they've the deal is that you get to sleep at night. If they sit in a hotel bar, and it is Dave, for example, Dave, I'm just gonna have a drink, and then they meet a girl, or they start chatting, or one of their friends come over. Suddenly, they could be up till midnight, 1 o'clock. Well, I can't go to bed until they go to bed. So suddenly, you are working totally to their time frame. Now, if they're true professionals, like I've done a lot of close protection for Premier League football teams. So what they'll do, they'll hire out a whole floor in a hotel, and the manager will make sure that they're in there, and they'll actually say to me, do not let any of these out of this floor at any point after 9 o'clock. If you do, come and get me. So they don't go for a drink or do something they shouldn't be doing. So they're quite simple. But if you've got someone who's a bit of not a rogue, but someone who's a bit of a Jack the Lad, and let's face there's a lot of celebrities out there like that, and they could be out till 2-3 in the morning. Well, I've got to stay with them.
Oh God! And then like you've got to wind down.
Yeah.
And then if you've got to be up early, that is going to impact on your focus the next day, isn't it? Surely.
Absolutely. And there's other things as well. You've got to think about your communications and stuff. If we're supposed to be locked away in bed by 9, and suddenly you're out till 1-2, your phone might start to drain its battery. I haven't got a charger. Where am I going? So you've got to think about that.
Yeah.
You've got to think about where you're going, routes. If they want to go to a club, we don't know the club. So we've got to speak to the security. We've got to get them on side. If there's a problem, we've got to get them at the back door. It's what I call a dynamic risk assessment.
Yeah.
You're constantly, risk assessing the situation.
Yeah. And is this your full-time job? Are you doing that full-time now?
Well, I don't do it full-time now.
No.
I do it less now.
Yeah.
There's other things that I do, but for a long time it has been.
Yeah.
Reason why it's not so full-time for me now is that it's a lot of traveling. Yeah. And I actually, prefer to be at home a lot of the time now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do jobs if they're short term, but some of these jobs, I've done ones where you've got to go for a couple of weeks in South Africa and Paris, all these different places. They're great, but they're very draining, and it's last minute.
Yeah.
You get a phone call and it's like, can you go tomorrow? And if you don't go, there's a whole load of other people that will go.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people looking for work.
I get exactly what you mean with that, because like you just said at the very beginning, it looks more glamorous than it is.
Yeah.
So while the idea of South Africa or Paris might sound very sexy, it isn't in reality, is it?
No.
You're working, you're knackered, you're hungry, things like that.
Yeah.
And you've then got to be really switched on.
Yes.
I remember during the time I worked on sort of like homicide investigations, we might every now and then have to go for overnighters here and there, up to Edinburgh and places like that. But you're working, but then you also see it as a bit of a jolly.
Yeah, that's right.
So you might think, oh, I'm going to get a bit of downtime.
Yeah.
So we've got to work out what pubs are where we can go out to eat, things like that. But generally, you end up spending too much money of your own, which, because yes, you can claim some stuff back through work, but they're not going to pay for your drinks.
No.
So, you're going to go on your jolly. Yes, you've got your statement or you've done whatever you've gone there to do, but then you're out of pocket.
Absolutely.
You've got to get an early flight back or drive back even maybe, so you're knackered. And after, quite quickly I learned, I don't like doing them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it takes me away from home.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I need to be there for the boys.
Yeah.
I went away the weekend with the girls, and the planning that had to go in to people looking after my kids almost wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
You know, I sort of felt like I'm away and I'm just checking in all the time because their dad was away.
Yeah.
So my family were helping me, but it was like, you know, my brother's doing the rugby run and my dad's picking up from school and my mum's stopping over at my house. And I was just checking in all the time and I weren't relaxing.
Yeah.
So actually, it's easy for me to just be at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
So
hard work, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, most of my earlier years doing it, I was single. So that's another thing I always think, if you're going to get into close protection, different with these firearm officers, they're different because they're on a rotation. They're probably doing 12 to 12. And even if the client runs over, there'll be someone that takes over.
Yes,
because in the
that's
day,
right.
the government's paying for this. So no matter what, they're going home. It's fine. But if you're an independent, it doesn't work like that. And, you know, so I always say it's a single person's job, really, to be able to just go away for 2 or 3 weeks' time. I mean, not many partners are going to be happy with that.
No.
So, yeah.
And I wonder whether just thinking about people that are in that role, you started off doing that as a single person.
Yeah.
But then when you do such work like that, I bet it's quite hard then to find a partner. Am I
Very,
right?
very difficult, yeah. Very difficult. Or I can tell you what happens a lot of the time. A lot of these guys, because it's mostly men, but there's a lot of females in the industry, but a lot of men, they end up meeting someone on a job.
Yeah.
And they end up like relocating or something like that.
Yeah.
So it completely turns their life upside down.
Yeah,
But
I can see that.
it's difficult. I mean, I think the security world in general is difficult, even when I was doing pubs and clubs, because, you know, there's nothing wrong with the job, but if you're working every Friday, Saturday night, you know, your partner wants to do stuff, you know, well, they want you at home at least.
That's took me back to one of the earlier episodes with a singer, Mitchell. Right. He's a UB40 tribute.
Right.
And he's quite actually really famous in what is brilliant.
Yeah.
But he actually said it's really hard to meet someone because you are performing most weekends and the lifestyle means that you're not living sort of like a relationship kind of life.
No.
And this is, I would imagine, very similar and really difficult because then we've got the time's ticking, so we're going to get older, and then before you know it, you're in an age bracket where, a bit like me now, I'm like 40. Yeah. Whoever you're going to meet's probably got baggage, and like, I mean, I'm supposed still quite young and could meet someone, but I've got this thing in my head where I'm like, I don't really want to meet someone with kids, and that sounds really selfish, but I don't.
No.
But who at 40 hasn't? Do you know what I mean? Or
very true. Very true. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that is the case. I think kind of like 35 onwards, normally if you meet someone, they've got kids, haven't they? Or they've chose not to have them. But if they're going to have them, they've pretty much had them, haven't they? So yeah.
So quite a lonely life, I'd imagine then.
Oh, close protection is a very lonely life. Because also, once you clock off, all you want to do is go to your hotel room and go to sleep. Because again, standing, you know, you might have when you first get into it, you get given the easy jobs, but the monotonous ones, you know, you'll be stood by a hotel room door for 12 hours.
Yeah.
There's no paparazzi, there's no excitement, there's no red carpets. You're stood by a door for 12 hours. That's hard work. Try and stay awake for that in itself is that. Then when you start to get more established and you can start to place people where you want them, it's different. But of course, then comes the pressure of, you know, the responsibility of the job.
Yeah.
But I've had some real dilemmas. Like we did security for Missy Elliott many years ago.
Wow.
She's tiny, by the way.
Is she?
Oh, so small.
I loved her when I was growing up.
Brilliant, wasn't she?
Yeah.
But she was doing a tour, and we took her to a hotel somewhere. And bear in mind, it had all been set up weeks in advance. She went to the hotel room. Within 2 minutes, she came out and said, I'm not staying there. Shit. Oh, it's awful.
Was it?
It wasn't great, but I think there was a bit of ego. She said, shit. So you're suddenly confronted with, okay, we haven't, your bus is gone, your transport's gone, you don't like it, you don't like this room, she's the boss in theory, so we had to find her somewhere else. But again, we'd set that up with her discretion in mind, so that people weren't going to
she was
blast
there.
it out there.
Yeah.
So when you get something like that, that's hard work. Because as a human being, you're like, it's very, just get on with it.
Yeah.
But you can't. You've got to be, oh, of course. Okay, we'll find you somewhere else. Can you
And
just wait here for 10 minutes? No, I don't want to go back in that room.
Oh.
Okay then.
Is that down to you?
It is down to them. So they have tour manager.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's obviously a big name, but a lot of them don't have tour managers. They, when you're a lesser celebrity, then it's down to you. Yeah, because what happens is when you get to know them very well, they become so reliant on you. They kind of lean on you for everything, and because you do, not with her because there's a short job, but you do build friendships with these people.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Like, could you potentially sort of like eat with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the time you would. Like, I became very close with Frank Bruno.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, and the great thing about Frank, I was a kid, I watched all his fights. I loved Frank, and then did a lot of his security. And I'm not saying we're close friends, but I can pick up the phone. I can talk to him whenever he's in the southwest. I'll always do security for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, you eat with them, drink with them, whatever, and yeah, it's beautiful. That's lovely. But then you have to be careful you don't get complacent, because suddenly I'm sitting there with what was my idol, but I'm doing the security. So
you need to be aware of what's around you.
Yeah.
And that's got to be so difficult, because how, you're in awe of this person. You've got to have your wits about you.
Absolutely.
I don't suppose you can drink.
No, I definitely wouldn't drink. But
No.
I mean, just like tea, coffee, water, whatever. But yeah, definitely eat with them, because some of them, they want you to eat them because they don't want to be sat there on their own.
Yeah.
And then there's others that will distance you and say, look, I don't even want to look like I've got security, so that's fine. We just sit in the corner and do our own thing.
Okay.
But always watch.
What about like training? Would you ever train with any of them? Like, because I'm just thinking of, what was he on the Bodyguard?
Yeah.
When she went for a run and he's like running alongside her. Was that right?
I will tell you a very interesting story. This is a very funny story. Now, you may have to. Very rare that happens. But we had Arsene Wenger. Was he Arsenal? Yeah, Arsenal, wasn't he? Arsenal football manager. He came to Bournemouth, and they were playing, and they had the whole landing booked out for them. And 8 o'clock in the morning, he comes downstairs, and we always wear suits. We did for this job. Come down to the hotel lobby, say, all right, say, yeah, no problem. I'm going to go for a run. Whoa, what do you mean? I go for a run wherever I go, first thing in the morning. Before the guys go out, I go for a run. But we're in our suits. We can't leave him.
What did you do?
And I don't know if you've ever been to Bournemouth, but you come at this hotel, there's a hill, it goes down to the beach. And I was working with my friend Jason. I was like, well, we got to run. So we had to start running in our suits.
No.
And I said to Jason, I said, go back and get the car.
Yeah.
I will have to run with him because he's very fit. I'll have to run with him. You get the car and just catch me up, and then we'll just follow him in the car. Yeah. And then by the time he got the car, he was like half a mile away. And I'm in this suit and I'm sweating.
I was going to say, because you'd be sweating after a
it's
run.
Horrendous. But that was a funny one.
Yeah, because when we were just talking then, I was thinking, I'm picturing sort of doing everything with them.
You do, yeah.
Do you ever get any that are a bit shady in terms of like wanting to get away from you?
Yeah, and I can tell you one, and I don't mind mentioning who it was.
Yeah.
She was a pain in the ass, to be honest. Jade Jagger.
Okay.
We did an event where there was 2 of us. We were assigned to her for the event, and all she did was try and get rid of us because she didn't want us there. It was the event that knew that she needed it, and they were right because she did need it. And she kept walking off. We're like, look, fine, but I don't really need you. I don't want you. And yeah, but we're being paid to do this, and if you go missing,
yeah,
we get it. And anyway, she disappeared. And then we found her again. Then she said, I need to go to the toilet. Because she obviously realised the only place we're not going to go is the toilet. She went in the toilet and we couldn't find her. She must have got out for a window or something. But we did find her later on. But I was like, oh my God. She was hard work.
Yeah, what a pain.
That was hard work. But yeah, you do get some. And, some of them have little habits that they don't want you to see.
Of course.
Or they're married and they want to, they want to...
have some extramarital affairs.
Yeah, and they don't want you to know. So, yeah, you do get that.
And do you, in that case then, so say if there was someone quite high profile and they have got, some habits that they don't want you to know, or they're up to no good, let's say, would you have to sign an NDA or anything in those circumstances?
Most of the time you would, yes. I mean, if you're on a long-term contract, you would.
Yeah.
That said, I've seen lots and I would never repeat it. Some of the stuff I've seen shocks me to this day, but I mean, it's all I would say is you'd be amazed. The ones that you think don't do stuff are the ones that do, and the ones that have a bad boy or bad girl reputation are normally not like that at all. It's a good image, and when they're back behind closed doors, they're actually really nice people.
Yeah, and they just probably want to just chill out as well, like you do.
Very interesting.
Wow. So your routine then generally day to day, because I can tell I've seen as well on your Instagram and your socials, you clearly look after yourself in terms of your fitness and stuff. So what, because I'm guessing then if you're, let's just say a job come in and it was Southwest based and you could do it, you need to be physically fit. Like that bloke that went for the run, you need to be able to run.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be.
So what do you do to look after yourself?
So I actually, I'm a boxing coach as well.
Yes, I know.
So I've done that quite a while. So whatever happens, I will always do something, whether it's training, so running, some weights, boxing, bag work, some of that. I don't profess to be the fittest in the world, but I always do something every day. And even if it is like a little jog, because it just keeps you fresh, keeps you alert in your mind. And as you know, fitness is really important for your mental health anyway. Yeah. So it just keeps you alert. When you are doing that kind of work, you're in hotels all the time, and the food is not necessarily great. Expensive hotels, nice food. Some it's not very good food at all. It's not very nutritious, and you got to think about the whole day. So, but yeah, running, boxing, weights. I'll do something every day, no matter what it is.
And then with your own food, so just generally day to day, you're not working. I mean, I'm very routine-y, so I like to know what my day is going to look like. So today, for example, I knew I've done my spin class this morning, fasted, and then I've took the dog out, and then I'm home, but I've got to be in the studio for 11. I need to eat, but I need something substantial that's going to see me through. Yes. So I've had like a big, 4-egg omelette with a couple of rashers of bacon, spinach and mushrooms in there, and I'm not hungry.
Yes.
For you, is that the same? Like you need to sort of think ahead with your meals?
I pretty much do the same thing every day. I pretty much know that 5:30 is going to be my last meal. Kind of know what it will be, and then, unless my routine changes, I'm pretty routine with it.
Because I hate being unorganised. Yeah, and then I'm going to say the word forced. No one's forcing me, but I'm hungry, and I'm on the road, and I've not planned, and I've now got to go and grab something on the go, and I don't want to do that. I want to be prepared and have stuff with me that's going to keep me more on the ball, because it does help, but doesn't it?
Massively.
Your food, you are what you eat. So if you are just going to eat crap all the time, you're not going to be sharp.
No. Well, blocks to, I used to deliver conflict management training. To the new intake when they brought the SAA training in the Security Industry Authority. That was in 2004. And I, after that, started doing conflict management training, so physical intervention. And I used to talk a lot about blocks to communication and hunger, tiredness, things like that. But hunger's a massive thing.
It is.
I can't concentrate on a conversation if I'm hungry.
Neither can I.
Exactly. And also your tolerance level changes. If I'm fed and watered, my patience is good, but if I'm craving food, trying to talk to someone and deal with a conflict situation goes out the window.
And that's the extreme circumstance. But even for me, like even with my kids, I'm less patient with them if I'm hungry, if I'm tired. Generally, your patience is going to drop, and then I'll give myself a hard time because I might snap. I'm thinking it's only because I'm hungry, or because I'm tired. So it massively makes a huge difference. But you've got to keep yourself in peak condition. Haven't you?
Yeah, you do. And also you've got to bear in mind the other thing about the physical aspect is I have to feel confident in my job, because that's the other thing. There's a lot of people out there that, if they're not looking after themselves, they can say what they want, but they're not feel up here that they have the ability to. I mean, if I was to walk around a town now and even look at door supervisors, who do a great job, most of them, but I look at some of them and they know in their head they are not able to do that job. They do it, they're getting paid, but they know they're physically not able to do it, or they're not confident in it. So I never want to be that guy that's on a job somewhere that doesn't feel physically able to do what I need to do.
Yeah. And I think just looking at you, you look like a close protection officer.
Yeah, right.
When I came down in the lift then, I instantly thought, yeah, you look like a bodyguard.
Yeah.
And I think, I know what you mean. You could go around town and you could see people on the doors. Yeah. Some of them look a state. And you think, you ain't chasing anyone.
I tell you, I'm always careful what I say about it because I have a lot of respect for a lot of these guys, but I've spent so much time in that industry. The training has got much better, but the level of standard has dropped to an all-time low. I mean, when I worked at the door, we were suited. You know, if you turned up and you hadn't polished your shoes, you'd be getting sent home. Shirt, tie, you know, no chewing gum, not stood there with your mobile phone, no smoking. These are all things that clients would say to me back in the day. I don't want him on my door or her if they're not looking the part, because they're a representation of our business. But now I go around and I just think, oh my God, this guy's on the doors wearing tracksuit bottoms and Nike trainers. And I'm like, how do you expect any respect from the public looking like shit?
And you're not taking them seriously. I wouldn't take someone seriously. I take you seriously. You look the part. Yeah. You know, so when you're looking at people on the doors, and I remember those days, the suited and booted days when it was a proper, you know, But just talking about the conflict management. So I remember this from the police days. Yeah. Because also, just very quickly going back to something, the standards of the police service have dropped.
Absolutely.
Because back in the day, you know, there was lots of restrictions to getting into a police force. Yeah. These days, I tell you what, they let anyone in.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it. There's people with so many issues. Now, there's people with emotional support teddies. We're talking police officers here that are out, you know, responding to jobs, but they've got an emotional support pet or teddy. Now, I'm sorry.
Oh, an actual one.
Oh, yeah.
This is what this.
No. Wow. This is happening because don't forget, I've still got lots of friends within the police, and the stories I'm hearing, I'm like, how the standards are disgusting. Like it's like they've lost a backbone. In you know, yeah, it is. I mean, I could go on about it. I really could. Might do an episode on that, Carl, by the way.
You should, yeah.
But the conflict management, I remember being taught the conflict management model. Yeah. So 2004, I joined West Midlands Police. Right. And in our personal safety training, we were taught the conflict management model.
Really interesting. I wonder how it fares, obviously yours will be more extensive, but how it fares to the door supervisor. Because it was quite, the physical intervention training was pretty good, I felt, was it non-pain compliant or?
I've done both.
Right. Because we were all non-pain compliant, so it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that really always stuck out for me. You know when you do sort of like any sort of learning course, some of it sticks with you and some of it doesn't. Course. Batari's box always, to this day, has stuck with me. So, and I say it to my kids now, your attitude and your behaviour is going to affect my attitude and my behaviour. And that, when you've got to remain professional, you know, if you've got someone coming up to you who's got a terrible attitude and their behaviour is disgusting, yet you've got to remain professional.
Always.
But these days, I mean, you know, you can see online and stuff, police officers, and they're allowing someone's behaviour and attitude to affect theirs.
Totally.
And the next thing you know, people have got their mobile phones out, they're all over the internet, and it makes them look really unprofessional. And no wonder public confidence in policing is at an all-time low. This episode is sponsored by Solace Tanning. Based on Northfield Road in the Harborne area of Birmingham, this deluxe tanning salon offers state-of-the-art stand-up and lie-down tanning options to give that all-over glow. With premium courses to get the most for your money, a wide range of tanning creams available and a relaxed atmosphere, get yourself down there because, let's face it, we always feel better with a tan. And they're even open late most nights.
Yeah, absolutely. No, in the door supervisor, we used to call it the behaviour cycle, and absolutely, and you couldn't. I used to watch situations where guys just started working on doors. Even some of the experience. In fact, some of the more experienced ones were the worst because they went into situations with this kind of entitlement of, well, I've been doing this for 30 years now. I know what I'm doing, and I look at it. I think, well, you've automatically triggered, and now this cycle's gonna keep going until you got hands on, and it was horrendous. But yeah, no, I always used to pride myself in the fact that I used to really, really exhaust the communication skills first, and 9 times out of 10, I could talk someone out.
It's always about how you talk to
Always.
people, I feel.
Yeah.
I remember when I very first started working in a custody block when I was 18, and it took me a while. I would argue with them at first.
Yeah.
And I'd be stood in a cell corridor having a bang off with someone and having a slanging match. And quite quickly, I learned to control it because otherwise you'd just be doing it all day.
Absolutely. Exactly that. I think my lesson wasn't the door. It was like road rage when I was younger. I was terrible for it. I would never instigate, but if someone was really out of order, I'd be like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get a couple of instances where you think, okay, now they've got out, I've got out. Where's this going? What is the point?
Yeah.
Why did I even say anything? So I'm like, no, just drive on now.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same. I've become so less hot-headed.
Yeah.
Probably as I've got older as well.
Yeah.
But you think, I can't be arsed getting involved in this. But, 20 years ago, I would have.
Absolutely.
And I can see how road rage incidents get out of hand.
Totally.
Not to the point I've seen some where, there's extreme violence and I think, no, I can't see that. But, some you can, we've all been in that situation, surely, where someone's cut you up or done something and it's got your back up. Yeah, I can get that. But I think over time you just learn to just shrug it off, I guess.
Well, I think with the the conflict management, it's a massive subject, and it really is important, like what you say, because so many people go into it now with the wrong attitude, and I would question, like with the police, security, and things like that, how much do they respect the role they're in? I think that's a big part of it now as well. Because when I worked on the door in the early days, I was proud to go in, even though I knew that the public were like, oh, you're just a bouncer. But I knew that I was sharp suited, I looked the part, polite, and I was doing a good job. But I think now, and maybe the same with the police, well, they probably think, it's this job, people don't respect it. I respect I think, we need the police. I've never had any real bad experience with it, but it's an all-time low, isn't it now?
Yeah,
the hatred for some of them, which isn't deserved a lot of the time.
No.
But they must go to work and think, what am I doing this for anymore?
And I have said this time and time again, if my kids said to me, I want to join the police, I'd say over my dead body.
Yeah, exactly.
Over my dead body.
When I was a kid, that would be something to be proud of. You'd be like, oh my God, it's amazing. You're going to join the police.
When I grew up, I want to be a policeman. It was a common thing amongst kids when we were young. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a policeman.
That's right.
I want to be a fireman.
That's it.
I don't know about the other sectors, but I know certainly if my boys come home and said to me, I want to join the police, I would say over my dead body.
I wouldn't even want to be a fireman now.
No.
The amount of abuse they get, paramedics, the aggro they get, they're pulling up to save someone's life, and the people are spitting at them, and
it's disgusting, isn't it?
Society's really got problems.
It is. Who's the best person you've protected in your opinion? Who's been your most favoured client?
We did a lot of work with Peter Andre.
Oh, really?
And he is what you see.
Is he?
He is the nicest guy. In fact, very interesting. We was in a book signing somewhere, I can't remember what it was, and the queue for Peter Andre was always massive. But they always have tour managers. And I remember there was a young lady who'd been queuing up, but she couldn't quite get to him before they cut the queue off. And he was under pressure. Come on, Pete, you got to go, you got to go. And she was disabled. I remember it very, very well. And all she wanted to do was give him a hug. But they just didn't have time. He was 40 back, and if he did that, he'd have to everyone. And we got back out, and he always used to travel around like a black Mercedes Sprinter, which is what they normally do. And as soon as he got into the van, he was like, because he'd asked for her number, and he said, we're going to go and see her, going to ring her up. And the tour manager, what? We don't have time. We are going to go and find that girl. So he turned up at her house unannounced, and she was there, and gave her a hug, had a photo. It was like 2 minutes, but he was gone. But can you imagine what it meant to that girl?
Oh wow, what a nice guy.
They don't do that. People don't do that normally.
No.
But he was great. Michael Caine. With Michael Caine.
Wow.
I was a bit starstruck with him because
I bet.
it's Michael Caine.
Yeah. What was he like?
He was brilliant.
Was he?
He was brilliant. He was doing like a book tour, but we were with him. Asked him some questions. Asked him about why he retired, and then why he came out of retirement. I had a good chat with him. He was really cool.
Yeah.
And there's been some great ones. There really has. Loads.
Well, obviously now I'm going to ask you who the worst ones were.
Ooh.
If you can tell us.
Oh, the worst ones. Not sure off the top of my head. I have to think about that one.
Yeah.
There's been, I won't say the names. The ones that are the worst ones for me are the ones that are disrespectful to us.
Yeah.
And like treat you like shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some do. They're like, you're paid to do this, or you can literally hear them talking to managers. And, I want this, I want that. You're like, what, really? And then, yeah. But
entitled.
I'll be honest. Most of the ones I've had, most of the bad ones have not actually been celebrities. Have been like corporate clients.
Okay.
Yeah, wealthy people. But no, I've had pretty good experiences. Really, most of them have been pretty good.
And how long have you been in that line of work in total now?
So security started in '94, but actually the close protection stuff started in 2010. 2010.
Okay. So over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing when you become a close protection officer, you don't get thrown straight in with the likes of Michael Caine and Peter Andre, do you? You've got to build up to this.
Yeah, you've got to build up. And what I've realised is, and what people will realise if they're getting into it, that it's word of mouth, it's recommendation.
Oh, is it?
Someone has to say he's good, he's reliable. And there's a lot they take into account. They take the physicality, they take your awareness, but they also take your, discretion. They want to know that you're going to not talk about it, not spill the beans, not tell stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And look after not just their physicality, but their integrity. That's really important for them.
Yeah. So something's just come to me while we were talking about it being a lonely life. Do you know, is there a high suicide rate amongst the security services?
I don't think there is particularly, no, because I think what normally happens is with the security stuff is that they do their time and they get out, and then if you're good at your job, there's always work out there, doing other sort of security or working with companies and around other people. I don't know many close protection officers that do it for life.
No, it's not a lifelong job, is it?
No, what a lot of them do, they cash in. Like in London, they'll do like the Arabs and stuff like that. They'll do what they call RST, so residential security. So they'll go live in with an Arab family. I say that because they're the ones with the money in London. They'll go and live with them. They might take the kids to school, and they'll take the wife shopping and stuff. And they get paid very, very well. And there might be a team of 2 or 3, and they get accommodation, live in and stuff like that. They get nice bonuses, nice tips. So those ones may do it for long term, but the celebrity stuff, no, they don't have long, because at the end of the day, you get older, your body starts to ache a bit. Even I, sometimes if I've got to stand up for 4 or 5 hours, my back hurts a little bit, and it's all right when you're very young.
If I have to stand up for an hour, my back hurts.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of getting that sweet spot, because I've always said, when you're very young and you're learning, you don't have the experience. When you've got all that experience and knowledge, you're starting to get older. So it's a catch-22.
It is a catch-22, you're right. Because I think if I'm going to watch my son play rugby and I'm on the side and I'm there for an hour or maybe a little bit longer, I need to sit down.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually feel like my back's hurting now. I need to go and sit down. And that's an hour watching my son play rugby. So if you've got to stand outside a door, I can imagine that would be...
That's hard.
It's intense on your body.
Yeah, it's hard.
Isn't it? And don't forget, imagine it's a hot day.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah, things like that. You've got to take into account the surroundings, haven't you? And
so I mentioned the South Africa thing. We did a job. There was like 6 of us. We did this job in Cape Verde, actually it was. And the brief was you all like to have shirt, trousers, proper shoes, sweltering heat, and you're doing that all day long. That's hard work.
That is hard,
You
isn't
can't
it?
like wear shorts and t-shirt. That's your brief, because that's what the client wants. That's
Yeah.
very hard work. You're sweating. You go through phases. You've sweated. You dried out. You sweated again. You start to smell a bit. It's like,
Yeah.
that's hard.
It is hard. I mean, even just relating that to sort of like a police uniform
I can imagine.
on
yeah.
a hot day.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, in sort of later years that I was there, I wasn't in uniform. I was in plain clothes.
Yeah.
But you've got to look smart still.
Absolutely.
You know, do you know these days? I mean, I've only been out of that for 3 years.
Yeah.
But I don't even like getting dressed properly, to
Yeah,
be
right.
honest.
Yeah.
I just like wearing my comfies.
Yeah.
Now, if I have to actually get properly dressed in something that's got a tight waistband or,
Yeah.
do you know, I think, oh, it's disgusting. I hate it. So,
I relate to that totally.
yeah.
And I find that now, because I've spent so many years wearing suits and sharp stuff. Now I just want to wear nice relaxed stuff, shorts, t-shirt, sportswear, and that's it.
I want to live in that. And I still occasionally, you know, I've got a day job and I still do have to go into the office and be professional and stuff. And I honestly try and bend the rules as much as I can.
Yeah.
I.e., I'd get some smart looking trousers which are elasticated.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Yeah, I have to, because I don't like it. And then I think to myself, have I got some sort of like ism that I'm like, because I'm sensory when it comes to clothes. But I didn't used to be, because I used to be in uniform and stuff like that. And I just used to get on with it. Whereas now I'm like, oh, don't want to get dressed. So what kind of things are you doing now?
So I still do the security, but I coach boxing.
Yeah.
I kind of went through a period when I was just 40. I had a few things like people do. They have a little bit of a crisis in their life, relationship, business and stuff. And I kind of reflected and reviewed my whole life process. And I thought, do you know what? I put so much pressure on myself doing all this work, traveling all the time. I thought I'm going to do stuff more that I enjoy. I love boxing. I love coaching. Take a little bit of a back seat with the security, and this is more local. So I do boxing coaching. I'm doing a lot at the moment with, which I'm very passionate about, like anti-knife stuff. I know it's everywhere, but we, in Bournemouth, where I live, it's always been predominantly a very safe town, but it's massively on the rise right now for knife crime. So I do workshops. I've created like youth boxing sessions.
I've seen that.
Yeah, where I go into schools, colleges, community centres. I want to do a lot more. And it's not just about the boxing, it's about the conversations. You know, get kids come in, you know, if they're on a bit of a turbulent estate, for example, I don't expect to change it overnight, but slowly you kind of, you deal with it, and they're like, you try and talk to them a bit about how they talk to others, and when they swear, and their respect for property and things like that. And so I'm very passionate about that, and it's kind of interesting because it kind of brings together my security experience with my coaching, but also I did some special educational needs mentoring as well.
Oh, nice.
With kids a few years back, and I still do a bit of that. So it kind of is like a fusion, if it makes sense.
Yeah, it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, and so I'm there, and I understand the coaching, understand the severity of knife crime from all those nights on the streets and the doors, and I think also with my age now, I can relate to a lot more, and I'm mature, and they kind of listen to me a little bit more. Whereas if I was 20, they probably wouldn't listen.
But that's the thing, that comes with the experience. So doing things like that as you get a little bit older is probably better, isn't it? Because you've got the experience and you're not having to stand for like several hours at a time. So you're imparting your knowledge and it's still making a difference.
That's right.
With the boxing, how often do you do that?
Well, we do 2 sessions a week. So we're doing 4 hours a week basically. And they are 7 to 14-year-olds.
Okay. And is it an amateur, or is it just for fun, or?
So I train out of an amateur and a professional gym.
Okay. So
I do one-to-ones if people want that. But the youth boxing is in a community centre. It's called the Henry Brown, and I have teamed up with a company called, well, not a company, a charity called Changes Are Made, and you've met her. Of course you have. Yeah, amazing.
So how mad was that when I said to you that I'd met her? So what's her name?
Tracy.
So when I did the knife crime event in Parliament, so I was invited there by the Banking Cellar Trust because I stalked them and said I really want to come to this. So I managed to get in to this event in Parliament. And so I knew people there, but it's all about networking, isn't it? And there was a free bar, by the way, and a really good buffet.
So you did your network in the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, so when I weren't expecting it, I didn't know what I was going to expect. But when I walked in there was like a room set up, you know, and everyone's got a name tag on of where you're from and stuff. So I'm obviously just me from Spin Justice. Yeah. And then there's this bar. So as you can imagine, like the drinks are already poured out. Yeah. So there's, you know, Prosecco, red wine, white wine, bottles of beer. And so I've got myself a red wine, and I'm stood with people that, you know, I'd sort of travelled with or had been connected to through campaigns and whatnot. And I got stood next to this couple, bit older than me, and the man, who I presume was a husband, had gone to the bar. And when he come back, he'd handed her, I think it was a white wine, but she wanted a Prosecco. And she was like, I didn't want that.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, you wanted a Prosecco, didn't you? But I wasn't actually stood with them. I was just sort of like stood in the same vicinity. And I could see exactly what was going on in front of me. So I just went and got her a Prosecco and just swapped it for her. But that got us talking. Yeah. So I said, okay, who are you? What are you here for? And she told me it was her grandson. Right. And his name was Cam, wasn't it? So Changes Are Made was Cameron. Yeah. And she told me about him and what had happened. Yeah. He'd been subject to a knife crime attack. Yeah. And they'd then, off the back of that, launched their campaign. So I got talking to them, because it's not very often grandparents do things.
No. I think, and I don't know too much, so I wouldn't speak too much about it, but the mum, I think, obviously very much struggling. It was only 2 years ago this happened. So I think she's the grieving process is obviously very severe, and I think she can't really face dealing with that sort of stuff. But yeah, Tracy, she deals with it, and Toby, who was the brother, he comes in every Wednesday, opens up the community centre. I come in, do the classes. He's always there. Tracy comes in as much as she can, but she's so busy going into schools now and businesses talking about knife crime. Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing that you've met her, because I was doing these youth boxing sessions, and this specific area where Cam used to live before he died. She then asked to meet up with me. We were going to do the courses, and I was talking, and she said, well, would you mind calling it Cam? And we do it as a tribute to him. So we do that now, and it's in the actual estate where he lived. So wow. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just amazing. I love it. And we did it last night. It's every Wednesday. They come in, all different ages. They're learning to box. And I always say to them, I says, you know, you're going to learn to box, but it's not about, you don't have to be a great boxer. This is about coming in, interacting with each other, enjoying it, just being respectful of each other, and getting them off the streets at least a couple of hours a week where they're not out being up to mischief. Yeah. And it's massive, isn't it? And do you know what? I actually feel like I know a lot of people doing this. Because so many people say there's nothing out there for the kids. There is. Yeah. There is, because I could put you in touch with people anywhere. I'm telling you, if someone, no matter wherever you're listening, I could find you somewhere, because my network's grown from going to events like that in Parliament. You meet people. So if someone said to me, I live in Bournemouth, I could direct them to you. Yeah. Someone lived in Swindon, I know other people that are there, and so on and so on. And if I didn't, I reckon I could find you somewhere. Yeah. Well, I could find you somewhere. But I think, like, you had a guy called Matt Sen on recently, didn't you? I did. Who hopefully can do some work with, and he's doing stuff like that. But I think you're absolutely right. You can find them now, but I think they've started coming out of the woodwork in the last year or 2 years, because people like me and Matt, we realise that you need that. Yeah. Because the youth centres have shut down. Yeah, they have. These places have shut down. So it's falling now to people that have a passion for it, rather than just opening up a club, that are saying, right, we want to do something. And obviously Tracy's desire, need is what it is, obvious. So that's amazing. And I just feel that we need more of it. But there's not, then it's hard, because a lot of it comes down to funding. And it does. You know, if I was a multi-millionaire, I'd do stuff for free all the time. But you can't do it for free all the time. I love giving my time for free, but there's only so much you can do. Yeah. But no, it's interesting you met her, because they're a really lovely family. And I remember them, they stuck out for me, and I had a card off her, and I started following them on Facebook after. Brilliant. But it wasn't like
add as a friend. It was like follow, so you don't know whether they noticed that. That's that woman we were
I'll
talking
mention it to her next time I see
Mention
her.
it, yeah. Because
when you did that, was there a lady, an MP there called Jessica Toll? Did you meet her?
I don't remember her, but she could have been there.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of support. Basically a Bournemouth MP called Jessica Toll. She's like really pushed. She's campaigned for it as well.
There was a lot of MPs there,
Yeah,
and probably I gravitated more towards the Midlands-based ones because I was talking to Jess Phillips and Warinda Just and amongst others.
Yeah.
There was a few talks from MPs, which I remember. But the name rings a bell, so I'm thinking whether she was one of the first ones on.
She might have been.
But it was a great event, and I'm hoping to go back again next year because it's a good opportunity for networking. And not just that, like I've spoke about it so much. Everyone can only do their bit.
Yes.
You're doing your bit.
Yes.
I'm doing my bit. And if everyone did their bit,
that's what I say. Yes.
Then we're winning.
That's right.
You know, whereas there's a lot of hate in the world at the moment, and too much hate, too much negativity. Social media and the mainstream media drive a lot of the negativity, I feel.
Horrific.
And actually, everyone just wants peace.
Yeah.
Don't we?
Honestly, it saddens me sometimes. I literally look around and I see so much anger, and I mean, I've never been an angry person. I've always been a positive person within reason, but I see so much anger. I think, why are you so angry? And so I come to the conclusion now that unless you're, some big shot, you can't change everything.
You can't.
But you can change. You can look after and change your little bubble. You can, I met this guy in New York. He runs a club called Trinity Boxing Club. His name's Martin Snow. And he said to me, Mark, just look after your block.
Yeah.
He said, all I care about is my block. And if I look after my block and someone else, we're winning. Don't worry about the other block. You can't do it. You may want to do it, but you can't. And it's true. And I kind of, because I think when you want to do a lot of good stuff, you want to do big. Yeah. But I believe, just for me anyway, focus on my area, my thing, and let it grow. And hopefully the ripple effect starts and other people do good.
Because you'll inspire others anyway.
Exactly.
So then they can do their block.
That's it.
And that's isn't it? And that's the snowball effect. Yeah. And then if someone takes inspiration from them,
yes,
and that's how it goes on.
Yeah.
I very much didn't used to feel like that. I used to get very down and probably quite depressed at some points, especially during the police days, because you can't save the world.
No.
And I was overexposed to such sadness and badness, and it impacted me to the point where I've had to have lots of therapy and unpick lots of things. Yeah. And now I can focus on me and and mine and try and keep my ship afloat. And I've said it to someone recently, you can't save the world.
No,
you've just got to try your best and do your bit.
That's it.
Even a friend of mine that's a dog walker, she will occasionally go into a house and she can see that the dog's not being treated properly, and it'll upset her. And I remember having the conversation with her very early on. Do your best, do your bit. So if something needs reporting, you've got to report it. If you need to have a confrontation with someone, so be it. But once you do what's right, we can't save the world, because it's actually so unfortunate. It's happening everywhere.
Yes.
But there are also a lot of people now that I feel are bringing so much more positivity. I'm being connected with people making change on a daily basis.
Yes.
And it does really open your eyes, doesn't it? And you feel that, it is, the world is good.
I agree. Because negativity spreads quicker than positivity, doesn't it? So when we look online, we see negative, but there's a lot of good people out there. They just don't shout about it as much, and it doesn't get publicised. But yes, I truly believe, and I hope that, good eventually prevails over bad. I mean, you've got to believe in that.
You've got to believe it. You've got to have hope. So my spin justice of this week, which I've already talked to you about. So we're going to do my spin justice before we move on to something else that you want to talk about. But it is what's happened in the last week. So, today's Thursday. Last Wednesday night, there was the death of Charlie Kirk. And then that really, really affected my son. And then, we're just getting over that. And there's lots of talk online about that. And that, again, is dividing people.
Massively.
That's massively dividing people. But equally, everyone can have their opinions.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's been killed because of his. But then it's just triggering everyone else to become divided. And now, just everyone's fine to have their opinion.
I know.
That's what makes the world go round. But then, unfortunately, I'm on a weekend away, and
got up in the morning, I flicked open my phone, and honest to God, my reaction, all the girls were there. I was on this girls' weekend, and I went, oh! And they were like, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Ricky Hatton's died."
Mm.
And it was the first thing that had come up on my Instagram and it was the Daily Mirror.
Mm.
And you know when something's been posted like 40 seconds ago,
Yeah.
and they were like, "No, it's got to be fake. It's got to be fake." So I Googled it straight away. I've gone straight into Google, and it's all over Manchester News. So then, obviously, other news outlets then start posting the Daily Mail, Daily Mirror, the Sun. Then it's everywhere then. And I was honest to God, I never met Ricky. My ex-husband did. He's in the boxing world, and I felt devastated. And you know what? That was Sunday. Today's Thursday. I've thought about him every single day, and I actually felt upset. And I got home on the Sunday night. Into the next few days, I was like, it was massively on my mind. I was even searching, like, you know, if there'd been any family releases and things like that, which there have been now. But you actually knew him, didn't you?
Yeah. So I was a huge fan of his, always been a boxing fan. But if you remember when he was fighting, I mean, with the exception of Frank Bruno, I don't think anyone had support like Ricky Hatton.
No.
And I don't think they ever will. I went to watch him when he fought Floyd Mayweather in Vegas, and over 30,000 fans went to Vegas to see him. You could only fit 16,000 in the MGM ground, which is where the event was held. So all the major hotels put closed circuit TV up on big screens for them to watch, and I'd never seen anything like it. I mean, the atmosphere, the love that he had was incredible. And so I went to watch him fight many times. And then after he fought Floyd Mayweather, he then had a brief timeout, had a massive fight back here. But he started doing the tours, like the dinner speeches and stuff like that. Because I think he wasn't sure what he wanted to do, whether he wanted to go back to fight or not. So he had a bit of time out. And I started doing some security work for him then. Some of his tour dates, and he was the most incredible guy. And going back to the security, the CP stuff, you would always say to the client, "So what, you know, who do you want to talk to? How far do you want to keep people away?" And and he said, "Anyone, I'll speak to anyone, Mark." He said, "I don't care. Let them all. I'm the people. I'm a man of the people," and he genuinely was. So people would come up to him, he'd have a laugh with them, he'd have a drink with them. And he was the most incredible guy. And bearing in mind, you know, he was the biggest thing in boxing at that point.
Yeah.
He was a multi-millionaire. Money didn't change him one bit. He still used to wear his little floppy hat, his old train. Nothing. He didn't change at all. And so I did a lot of security work with him. And then I trained with him. I was fortunate enough to go up and visit him in his gym and do some training with him, a few sessions. Just remarkable, really. And funny story about Ricky. I took part in it was a WBC boxing event, a charity event, and I'd done this training with Ricky Hatton before, and obviously it's great. You keep the videos and stuff, and I did this event. And it was an amazing event. I won the fight. It was brilliant. I felt $1 million. And then a year later, I was in Las Vegas actually for a boxing convention. And Ricky, this is his sense of humor. Ricky Hatton was there, and I was chatting to him. He was in a bar having a drink. And I said, "Rick, I haven't seen you for such a long time." And he said, "Yeah, I did this boxing event. It was brilliant." He said, "All right, okay." And I showed him the video, and he went, "Right, okay." I said, "It's amazing, isn't it? I felt a minute." He said, "Yeah, but you're telling me that, you know, you train with me, which you did." He said, "We didn't fucking learn anything, did you?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I didn't teach you how to throw a punch like that." I went, "Oh, Ricky, you just spoiled it." I was like really proud, and he gave me a hug. He said, "That was brilliant." It's just his sense of humour.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was the same as you. I thought it's got to be a joke. You see all this horrible stuff.
Yeah.
But devastated. And I think I think I've felt it more the last few days. I watch stuff and I see some of these videos and I think, oh. And I think the not knowing exactly what happened, I have my idea, but I think that's the saddest bit.
Yeah.
46 years old.
Yeah.
Kids.
I know. And we spoke on that day and you said to me, 46, you know, and kids and grandkids.
I know.
And I just kind of feel like, and I was thinking about this morning because you just said, you know, these blokes are multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
I have never heard one person say a bad word about him.
No.
With people in the public eye, people have a for and against, don't they? Opinion. Oh, I really like him, or no, not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone have a split opinion on him. He was, so, like you said, and it probably was because he was so down to earth and money never changed him.
No.
And he wasn't sort of like materialised through the money. He still wear his old trainers, etc.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like people can relate to that, which is why people still loved him.
Yeah.
And he didn't divide people with their opinions on him.
No.
And not one, I've never not seen, because obviously, it's going back to Charlie Kirk, there's been a big divide there.
Massive.
Huge divide. You know, there's actually people being arrested and losing their jobs over expressing their disrespect towards him. But with Ricky, no one's got any bad word to say. I'm not saying that, you know, Charlie anyone had anything bad to say. Obviously they did, but it comes down to opinion.
Yeah.
But with Ricky, I kind of feel like no one's got anything bad to say about him because there wasn't a bad thing to say.
No, he was just what you saw is what you got.
Yeah.
And if you happen to be out, because he used to go to Spain a lot and have his sort of
Tenerife,
holidays.
yeah.
If you ever saw him out there, you know, you have a laugh with him. You sit down, drink with him. If you want, you can he goes to the nightclub, just have a dance. He's just
a normal bloke.
No. And I think that is it's what made him great, but it also became a challenge for him.
Yeah.
Because I think you have so much love for you. It's hard to stay away from that when you needed to be training or when you needed to be on that
focus
mindset. Because Ricky was an amazing fighter, but he would go up and down, like his weight would balloon up and down. And I can only hazard a guess, but I think a lot of that, you know, eventually would have played on your mind as well, because, you know, I've met and known a lot of professional fighters, champions, that when they come out the other end, they suffer mentally.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
You know, you've got Frank Bruno, people, because they've lived that high life. What do they then? They're used to training 3-4 hours a day, being an elite athlete, and then suddenly it stops.
Yeah.
What do? Tyson
Fury is another one.
Yeah. Tyson Fury, Frank Bruno, Mike Tyson. A lot of these people, they really struggle. And I think Ricky's one of them.
And it is very true in that it's a very lonely sport.
Yeah.
You know, Tyson Fury is another example of the weight going up and down and the drink.
Absolutely.
Because it's hard.
Yes.
We want to live a normal life.
That's right.
And so the drink, you know, for most working class people, forms part of that.
Yeah.
And that then comes with the food and et cetera, and then you stop training.
Yeah.
It's difficult and very, very lonely.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't know because it's not been released the exact cause of death. And I know a lot of people have spoke about his battles with mental health and depression and things. And it just goes to show you can have it all.
Yeah, exactly.
But if your mind's, you know, not right. And you know what? I don't believe for 1 minute, because I read the family statement that was put out. He wasn't never lonely. He was never alone, even the weekend that he died and beforehand, because everybody loved him. But if that was the reason and we don't know, it just goes to show it's in here.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Because it's the way, isn't it? Some of the strongest, the people that we think are the strongest, like Ricky was a massive entertainer. So for him to be sat here having a conversation about how I feel shit today, it's hard, because people expect him to be laughing and joking. Robin Williams, prime example, wasn't it? Look at him. Yeah. The ultimate entertainer. I think the bigger and tougher and whatever you are, the harder it is.
Yeah.
Especially for men as well.
And the more lonely it becomes.
Absolutely.
Because the bigger you are.
Yeah.
You know, it's all right having all these fans, but they're not there with you, are they? Sitting watching Emmerdale.
No, exactly. Yeah, I also think with sportsmen, especially boxing, you're always expecting it to go on, and then one night you lose, and that may be it. I think if you're a Formula One driver, your time's probably slowly start to erode over a few years, and you kind of know your time's coming up. But if you're Anthony Joshua,
Yeah.
you're the biggest thing out there, and then one night you lose, and suddenly, what now? No, yes, of course they can fight again, but there comes a time where they cannot fight anymore.
And also, maybe like what you were saying about you're only sort of as good as your last job.
You're totally.
So if you are losing, people lose interest.
Yeah. And social media is disgusting.
Yes, it is.
Think about, I don't know if you follow boxing, but I say about Anthony, not Ricky Hatton, because he was very loved all the time, but Anthony Joshua is a prime example. The world loved him. Men loved him. Women loved him. Kids loved him. When he loses, oh, he's shit. Oh, Tyson Fury would have beat him. So he loses. He comes back. He wins the world title. Oh, he's the best thing since sliced bread again now. Then he loses. Oh, he's shit. And I think, oh my God, the public online is disgusting.
Yeah.
Do
I follow boxing? You just said there. So yeah, basically,
you do.
I have a lot of boxers on here.
Nice.
My ex-husband was a professional boxer. He's now into boxing promoting, and my
Brilliant.
son's now also box. So it is the sport of our house.
Brilliant.
And I agree with what you're saying. And it was someone on recently, and I'm trying to think, was it Matt Sen? Who basically said, everyone loves you, and they're all posting and tagging you in their stories 40 minutes before the fight.
Exactly.
And then when you lose, there's tumbleweed.
No one wants to know.
And it's like, well, hang on a minute. 40 minutes ago, you loved me.
That's it.
So what's changed in that 40 minutes? So I'm only basically lovable as long as I'm winning.
Exactly that.
And it's a sport, Footballers wouldn't get this. Well, I mean, they do to a degree, but it's, it's a lonely, lonely world.
Very lonely.
So have you got a spin justice of the week? Is there something that's rattled your cage?
Well, mine's quite funny. It's just something very simple, but
That's good.
driving here today.
Oh, go on.
It's funny, but driving here today, I think I told you I left really early because I wanted to get. I hate being late.
Yeah.
So I got to Birmingham perfectly well. I took a wrong turn, and I went down a bus lane.
Oh no!
And straight away, I thought, oh no, there's 35 quid fine.
Oh no!
That's my little spin justice. I thought,
oh,
wow.
that is. And like we said when you arrived,
and I planned and everything. I was like, I'm going to get ready.
That'd be me.
Yeah.
That would happen to me.
Yeah.
I could leave because I'm always late.
Yeah.
Not late, but on time. I'm always on time. I'm never early.
Yeah.
But I always plan to get wherever I'm going on time, and then something like that would ruin my day.
Yeah.
But also round here, because we're in Digbeth now, the roadworks round here are disgusting. And it's been going on since I started this podcast, which was nearly 12 months. So, and I say to Carl, it was my spin justice of the week. I can't remember whose episode it was, but I actually said to Carl, because he used to sit there then. Yeah. He's over there now. But I said to him, the roadworks round here are ruining my life.
Yeah.
And they are.
They are bad, yeah.
They're really bad. So, yeah, okay. So have you got any shout-outs?
I would give a shout out to a very good friend of mine called Scott Welch. Again, you probably know.
I know that name.
Yeah. So Scott, he owns the gym in Brighton and Hove Boxing Gym, where the Eubanks train. Scott's a very close friend of mine, and he pioneers adaptive boxing.
Wow.
So it'd be a great guest for you to have on sometime. But Scott, of course, for those that don't know, was the British and European Commonwealth champion. He was the guy that fought Brad Pitt in the film Snatch.
Yes.
Yeah, lovely man, and his son Tom. But yeah, he runs a thing called WBC Cares, and they do adaptive boxing. So it's inclusive of all. So all disabilities. They've got people that box and they're visually impaired, or I've got a young lady that I train boxing called Roxanne, who's wheelchair bound, but she goes to Brighton and trains there. So I always like to give Scott a shout because he's a beautiful man, and he's doing great things for adaptive boxing. So
that sounds really good. Have they got an Instagram?
Yeah. I'll say he's on there, but you'll find it.
Yeah, I'll follow them.
He's great, and so his son Tom is a professional boxer. I think he's had 10 fights, heavyweight. He's going the right way. So
wow! See, someone like this who Scott I've heard of.
Yeah.
Didn't know about his son. My son probably would.
Yeah.
But like you say, if he's fighting somewhere, we would get tickets to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because especially I don't know where he's fighting and stuff, but small hall shows still need the the ticket buying, don't they? Because Tom, who's my ex-husband, he was massively Tommy Owens Promotions was his business, and he would put on lots of small hall shows. So your likes of like York Hall and the Villa Ground was used quite a lot and places like that. So you need people to still go into those events.
You need it, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's the only downside of this YouTube phenomenon. I don't have a problem with it. They're making good money, but they're earning so much now that the small hall guys are not making the money, and they're not getting the opportunities because now they're selling themselves out to box on a show based on how many followers you've got. If you've got 200,000 Instagram followers, you're guaranteed a nice payday.
That's disgusting, isn't it?
It is disgusting.
How's anyone supposed to get anywhere?
It's influencer boxing now.
Melanie Shaw talked about that. She's bare knuckle, and she says because they have a lot, sort of like with the Misfits boxing. She said the influencers get more jobs and they get more money because that's what they are, influencers. Yeah.
Well, look at Tommy Fury. I no issue with Tommy Fury, heavyweight boxer, decent, but he's decent. But he fights Jake Paul and probably earns himself 10-15 million quid. Yeah, he's decent. He probably wouldn't win, a British title. Yeah, good, but that's the problem. So whereas you've got, as you know, you've got guys there really having hard battles to get to British level, earning 500 quid, 3 grand, 4 grand here and there.
Yeah. And I tell you what else, when you're relying on something like an algorithm, because let's face it, that's what we're all doing. We're using social media to build a business brand. Yeah. But if you're like me and you speak out about stuff, you get shadow banned. So it will happen. Yeah. The algorithm won't work with you.
That's right.
It'll work against you. And I feel that, we've had episodes took down off YouTube because of things that we've said. Wow. Get a strike for saying you can't say that because it don't meet community guidelines. We're not saying anything wrong, nothing illegal. We're only speaking the truth. Yeah, it doesn't meet community guidelines because the people that pull the strings are the people that have got the power that can just basically get rid of your platform. It's disgusting, really. I hate it.
The Jimmy Fallon show's just been pulled in the States.
Really?
He made. I haven't seen it, but he said something about the Charlie Kirk death and relating to something with him and Donald Trump, but they've just pulled it, and it's like the biggest talk show in the world.
Yes.
And they've just literally last night pulled it off air because of it. So, with allegedly no plan to return. So,
might wait for Spin Justice, people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah,
my shout out this week is for Brick to Brick UK Limited, new sponsor on board. That's what I'm just these days. I'm trying to think of a shout out every single week. Yeah, and where I can go with like sponsors, I'm going to go with sponsors, obviously. Yeah. So Brick to Brick UK Limited, there's going to be adverts popping up probably over, if not in this episode, ones to follow. Nice. So give them a follow.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for coming on. I've really enjoyed this chat. Really enjoyed it. I
appreciate you inviting me on. It's really nice to talk to you and finally meet.
Yeah.
And it's good. Really good.
Am I as little as you thought?
You're about what I expected.
Yeah. People always say, God, you're tiny.
It's always hard to tell on the camera, isn't it?
Yeah. Thanks, Carl. This episode is sponsored by Solace Tanning. Based on Northfield Road in the Harborne area of Birmingham, this deluxe tanning salon offers state-of-the-art stand-up and lie-down tanning options to give that all-over glow. With premium courses to get the most for your money, a wide range of tanning creams available and a relaxed atmosphere, get yourself down there because, let's face it, we always feel better with a tan. And they're even open late most nights.
If you have a topic that you want to discuss, get in touch at b31spinjustice@gmail.com or via Instagram @spinjustice.